Chosen one, people are shook by this specific talent you carry, the one they never expected you to master. Someone is about to approach you like they hold the winning card, but you already studied the whole deck before they walked in. They think they're about to impress you with charm and promises, yet your intuition has already exposed the truth behind their performance. You see motive before words are spoken, and you can sense this person coming with chaotic energy and a half-baked dream. What they don't realize is that you've evolved beyond manipulation. You don't fall for sugar-coated shortcuts. You've learned to trust your foresight, that divine navigation system alerting you whenever intentions don't match the pitch. This moment isn't a threat, it's confirmation, proof that you remain 10 steps ahead, protected and powerfully aware. Watch what happens when this person finally makes the move. The approach will come in hot with compliments, flattery, admiration. You'll hear about how talented you are, how perfect you'd be for this venture, how lucky this person feels to have found you. And listen, some of it will be true. You are talented, you are valuable, but here's what your gift is picking up on, that you're hoped to miss. You're not being complimented because your worth is genuinely seen. You're being love-bombed because something is needed from you. There's a massive difference between authentic appreciation and strategic manipulation, and you can feel that difference in your bones. This person is going to act overly familiar, like you've known each other for years when you've barely met, like you're already friends, already partners, already on the same team. The energy will mirror yours. Agreement will come with everything you say. This false sense of intimacy is designed to lower your guard, and the whole time this performance unfolds, your intuition is screaming, because you can see the calculation behind every gesture, you can sense the strategy beneath every smile, you can detect the performance hiding behind the enthusiasm. This is someone who needs to be the center of attention, someone whose ego is so big it's been wrapped around like armor, and this person is about to find out that armor means nothing when you can see straight through it. The opportunity being brought might actually be legitimate. That's the twist. That's what makes this complicated. This isn't a clear villain situation where you just say no and walk away clean. The door being opened might lead somewhere valuable. The connections being offered might be real. The visibility being promised might actually materialize. So you're not dealing with a simple choice between good and bad. You're dealing with something far more nuanced. A real opportunity being delivered by an unreliable messenger. A genuine door being held open by someone whose hand might let go at any second. And that's exactly why you need that specific talent of yours working at full power, because here's what's not being told. Building anything lasting isn't known. The operation runs on quick wins and fast exits. Small projects that make fast money then burn out. Brief collaborations that end abruptly. This pattern has been done multiple times before. Swoop in, stir things up, make something happen quickly, collect the cut, disappear, and the plan is to try it again with you. But this time there's a problem. You're not built that way. You think in terms of legacy, foundation, sustainability, and when someone who operates from chaos meets someone who operates from wisdom, something has to give. This person has an agenda being kept hidden. Not because there's necessarily evil intent, but because that's just how the operation runs. The picture being painted is of partnership, of collaboration, of building something together. But in reality, the focus is on self-interest. The calculation is on what can be extracted from this situation as fast as possible. And once what's needed gets taken, the plan is to be out, gone, moving on to the next shiny object, leaving you to deal with whatever consequences the chaos created. Think of this like someone who gets paid to make introductions but has zero investment in what happens after. You get brought to the party, the door gets opened, the fee gets collected, and then a vanishing act. There's no thinking about your growth, no concern with your long-term success, just calculating immediate benefit. And here's the part that your gift is picking up on right now. There's information being withheld, details about how this industry really works, truths about who gets what percentage, secrets about where the real money flows. You're going to be kept in the dark about these things, not to hurt you necessarily, but because that's the culture, that's how everyone plays the game, everyone cuts corners, everyone keeps secrets, and when you eventually call this out, when you ask the questions hoped wouldn't be asked, you'll just get a shrug and hear that's how it is, but you already knew that. Your intuition already showed you hidden motives exist. Your discernment already revealed things are being kept from you. And that discomfort you're feeling right now, that hesitation, that sense that something is off, that's not paranoia, that's perception. That's your gift doing exactly what it's designed to do, protecting you, guiding you, showing you the truth before the lies have time to take root. And this person can feel that you have this ability, can sense you're doing analysis in real time, and it's making the approach nervous, it's making the effort try harder to win you over, it's making the promises pile on because the deal needs to close before you see too clearly. Here's where you need to make a choice, and I'm going to lay out both options clearly, because not everyone receiving this message needs to respond the same way. First path. You recognize this person is unreliable and decide you want nothing to do with that energy. You value stability. You appreciate planning. You need partners who think things through, and there's real power in that choice. If your gut is screaming, walk away, then walk away. No guilt, no second guessing, no fear of missing out, because there will be other opportunities, better opportunities, opportunities that come with solid people and strong foundations. You're not operating from scarcity, you're operating from abundance, and abundance knows what's meant for you will find you without compromise. Second path. You're feeling called toward the opportunity despite the messenger's chaos. You're thinking maybe the person doesn't have to be perfect for the door to be worth walking through. Maybe you can handle the disorganization if it gets you the access you've been working toward. Maybe you're willing to do the extra work to stabilize what's too scattered to maintain. And listen, this path is valid too, but if you choose this route, you need to go in with your eyes wide open. You need to protect yourself. You need to prepare for the inevitable disappearing act. You need to have financial backup, emotional boundaries, a clear exit strategy, because the flaking will happen, the burning out will occur, the grabbing and vanishing will take place, and when it does, you need to be positioned to continue without depending on anyone else. If this resonates with your inner knowing, hype this video to help fellow chosen ones find their way here. Here's the critical thing both paths require. You need to save money, right now, before anything else happens. Whether you're saying yes or no to this opportunity, you need financial stability. Because if you say yes, you'll need funds to sustain yourself when chaos creates problems. And if you say no, you need to be secure enough that you're not tempted to compromise your boundaries out of desperation later. This person operates on a grab-and-go mentality. Quick cash, fast exits, no sustainability. But the real payout, the legitimate wealth that's available here, it's not going to come from this person. It's going to come from the connections you make, the skills you develop, the visibility you gain. This person is just the loud introduction. You're the one building the legacy. And your specific talent is showing you exactly how this plays out. You can see the timeline. You can sense when interest will be lost. You can predict when the checking out will happen. That's your gift working. That's your foresight activating. That's why people are so shook by you. Because while manipulation of the present is being attempted, you're already living in the future. You already know how this story ends. And that knowledge is power. That awareness is protection. That foresight is exactly what separates you from everyone else who gets swept up in performances and loses themselves in other people's chaos. Your intuition was thought to be just lucky guessing. Your foresight was assumed to be a coincidence. Your ability to read situations was convinced to be some kind of parlor trick. But then people got close enough to experience it themselves, and that's when everything changed for them. Because you don't just sense energy in abstract ways, you mirror back to people exactly what's being hidden from themselves. When this chaotic person approaches you with the scattered proposal, the reflection you provide shows the disorganization clearly. Your steady gaze exposes lack of preparation. Your pointed questions highlight unreliability, contrasted against your solid presence. This is the specific talent that has people absolutely shook. You're a living mirror, and most people spend their entire lives running from honest reflection. Surroundings get filled with people who enable delusions, who support denial, who participate in pretending, but then you get met, and suddenly there's nowhere to hide. Your presence alone forces authenticity. Your energy demands truth. Your very existence challenges every comfortable lie being told, and people can't figure out how you do it, can't understand why being around you makes them so uncomfortable in their own skin. It's because you're not doing anything to anyone. You're simply being yourself, and your authentic self operates at a frequency that exposes inauthenticity. Think about what happens when you shine a light in a dark room. The light isn't attacking the darkness, it's simply existing, but its existence makes darkness impossible. That's you. You're the light that makes people's darkness visible, not because you're trying to expose anyone, but because your presence naturally illuminates what was hidden. And this chaotic messenger approaching you right now is about to get the most uncomfortable reflection of a life. Watch what happens when the realization hits that you can see the pattern, when the understanding comes that you've already predicted the exit strategy, when the recognition dawns that you know the plan is to grab a share and disappear. There's going to be slight panic, overcompensation, even harder trying to convince you of reliability. And that desperation, that need to prove something to you, that's the mirror effect in action. You haven't accused anyone of anything. You haven't challenged character. You've simply held up a mirror by being present, and what gets reflected back is terrifying to witness. Every person operates at a specific frequency, a vibrational signature that determines what gets attracted and who gets resonated with. Most people stay at whatever frequency was taught to be operated at, never questioning it, never examining it, never consciously choosing to shift it. But you're different. You've done the inner work. You've faced your shadows. You've chosen to operate at a frequency of truth and authenticity. And that frequency is incompatible with manipulation and deception. This is why people are shook when you get met. Manipulation tactics literally don't work, not because you're fighting against them, but because your frequency doesn't receive that signal. It's like trying to play a cassette tape in a digital player. The technology is incompatible, the format doesn't match, the system can't process the input. When this person comes to you with love bombing and flattery and strategic compliments, your frequency simply doesn't resonate with that energy. You feel it as discomfort, as dissonance, as something being fundamentally off, and the sense exists that usual methods are failing. What makes this even more powerful is that you can't fake this frequency. You can't pretend your way into operating at this level. It only comes through genuine spiritual development, through real internal growth, through actual transformation. And people who are still operating at lower frequencies can feel the difference, even if articulation is impossible. The instinctive knowing exists that you're vibrating at a level not yet accessed by others, and it intimidates, because it means all practiced techniques and rehearsed performances are useless against you. This chaotic person approaching you operates at the frequency of urgency and impulsivity. Everything is about speed and excitement and immediate gratification, but you operate at the frequency of wisdom and patience and long-term vision. When these two frequencies meet, there's no harmony, there's dissonance. And that dissonance is what creates the opportunity for you, because different frequencies attract different experiences. And when those two attraction fields overlap, interesting doors open. But the key is maintaining your frequency, not letting urgency pull you into reactive decision-making, not letting chaos disrupt your centered knowing. People are shook by you because the feeling exists of dealing with a different caliber of being. Someone who's not just going through motions, someone who's actually conscious, actually present, actually awake. And in a world where most people are sleepwalking through life, someone who's genuinely awake is both fascinating and frightening. You represent what could be become if inner work got done, but you also represent how far the current state is from that place. And that gap, that distance between where others are and where you are, that's what shakes people to their core. You don't just see what's happening right now. You recognize patterns, you identify cycles, you spot repetition. This person coming toward you with a business proposal isn't just being evaluated in this single interaction. You're seeing how it fits into a larger pattern of behavior. You're recognizing that this exact dance has been done before, with other people, in other situations, with the same result every time. And that pattern recognition gives you predictive power that seems almost supernatural to those who lack it. Most people evaluate each situation in isolation. Every person gets judged as if being met for the first time with no context. Every opportunity gets assessed as if it exists in a vacuum. But you see connections, you notice similarities, you detect echoes of past situations in present circumstances. When this person tells you about all the previous successful projects, you're not just hearing the success stories. You're noticing the pattern of short-term wins and sudden exits. You're recognizing the cycle of enthusiasm followed by disappearance. You're seeing the template that runs on repeat, and this pattern recognition extends beyond just this one person. You're seeing how this type of energy shows up across industries, how this flavor of chaos presents itself in different packages, how this species of unreliability adapts its camouflage depending on context. You've encountered versions of this energy before, maybe not in business, maybe in relationships, maybe in friendships, but the underlying pattern is the same. High energy, big promises, weak follow-through, and because you recognize the pattern, you can predict the outcome before the first act even finishes. This is what has people absolutely shook about you. The belief exists that uniqueness is being displayed. The conviction holds that this particular style is original. The self-deception runs that this version of the game is different from everyone else's, but you see through it immediately. Because you're not looking at the surface performance, you're reading the underlying code, you're seeing the DNA of behavior patterns, and once you see the DNA, the specific expression becomes irrelevant. You know where this goes, you know how this ends. And that knowledge is power never expected you to have. There's something else about your specific talent that disturbs people, your silence. When this person launches into the pitch, talking rapidly about all the amazing possibilities and incredible opportunities, you're not matching the energy. You're not getting excited. You're not jumping in with enthusiasm. You're simply listening, observing, processing. And that silence, that calm, that centered presence in the face of performance, it unnerves completely, because silence is where truth lives. When someone is performing, an audience response is needed to confirm the performance is working. Engagement is required. Validation is necessary. Reaction is expected. But you're not giving that. You're sitting in your power, holding your space, maintaining your center. And in that silence, words start to get heard differently. Gaps in logic start to get noticed. Weakness in foundation starts to get felt. Your silence becomes a mirror that reflects performance back with perfect clarity. Most people are uncomfortable with silence. It gets filled with words, with movement, with anything that breaks the tension. But you're comfortable in that space. You understand that silence is active, not passive. That observation is a form of engagement, that stillness contains immense power, and when you sit in that silence while this person is spinning a web of promises, you're actually doing deep analysis, you're checking in with your intuition, you're consulting your inner guidance, you're allowing truth to emerge from beneath the noise of presentation. Your silence is not judgment, it's discernment. You're not condemning anyone, you're evaluating whether this aligns with your path, whether this serves your purpose, whether this matches your frequency. But to someone unused to being met with this level of presence, your silence feels like exposure. like a mask is being seen through, like a game is being revealed. And that discomfort felt in your silence, that's conscience speaking, that's knowing, trying to break through performance. This is why people are so shook by you. You don't need to say a word for people to feel completely seen. Your presence alone does the work. Your energy alone reveals truth. Your silence alone speaks volumes, and in a world where everyone is constantly talking, constantly performing, constantly trying to control the narrative, someone who has mastered the power of silence is revolutionary. You're not trying to convince anyone of anything, you're simply being present with what is, and that authentic presence is so rare, so powerful, so transformative, that it shakes people who've spent their whole lives hiding behind words. Now let me put you onto something real, Destiny Engine. I built this because I was done watching chosen ones get dragged through betrayal, isolation and attacks while their enemies strutted around unchecked. I want to help you accelerate the speed of your divine justice and step fully into your purpose. And the beauty of it, you don't even have to lift a finger. Destiny Engine takes their downfall and flips it into your rise. This isn't another meditation app. It's declassified consciousness technology, the same mind programming tools your enemies once used to install fear, competition and scarcity, re-engineered to restore your sovereignty and align you with the cooperative, upgraded operating framework. It generates personalized sequences mapped to your divine purpose. The hardest thing you'll do is put on headphones, press play and watch your enemies keep digging their own grave. The collective upgrade is underway. Start your Destiny Engine for $1 today and turn everything they did to break you into fuel for your rise. Link in the description. Now here's something beautiful about your gift that often gets overlooked. While it terrifies people who are committed to their masks, it also invites authenticity from those ready to drop theirs. This chaotic person approaching you, underneath all the performance, there's a real human being. Someone who's scared, someone who's insecure, someone who's using chaos as armor because stillness was never learned. And your presence offers an invitation, not an obligation, not a demand, but an invitation to drop the act and be real. Most won't take it. The investment in performance is too deep. The identification with persona is too strong. The fear of what might be found beneath the mask is too great. But occasionally, someone meets you and something shifts. Safety gets felt enough in your non-judgmental presence to stop performing. Admission comes that everything isn't figured out. Confession happens that fear exists about whether this will work. Revelation occurs that desperation for guidance is real. And when that happens, when someone chooses authenticity in response to your presence, real magic becomes possible. This is the highest expression of your specific talent, not just protecting yourself from manipulative people, but creating space where authentic people can emerge. You're not trying to change anyone. You're not trying to fix anyone. You're simply holding a frequency that makes authenticity possible. And for those ready to evolve, ready to grow, ready to drop defenses and get real, your presence is a catalyst, a permission slip, a doorway to their own truth. So when this person approaches you with all the chaos and scattered energy, watch what happens beneath the performance. Is rigidity present in the mask? Does defensiveness appear when you ask clarifying questions? Does aggression surface when you don't immediately say yes? That's someone committed to pattern, not your concern, not your responsibility. Let it go. But is curiosity present about your questions? Does thoughtfulness appear in response to your silence? Is willingness shown to acknowledge that all the answers aren't known? That's someone ready to evolve. That's someone who might actually benefit from connection with you. That's someone whose chaos might transform into creative brilliance with the right support. It's not just about whether you take this opportunity or walk away. It's not just about protecting yourself from an unreliable person. It's not even just about the money or connections that might come from it. This is about activating your legacy, about stepping into the role you were born to play, about claiming the position that's been waiting for you to be ready. And your specific talent, this gift that has people so shook, is the key that unlocks that destiny. You see, most people go through life reacting. Something happens and response occurs. Someone approaches and evaluation happens. An opportunity appears and decision gets made. But you're being called to something different. You're being invited to lead from your intuition, to initiate from your foresight, to create from your vision. This situation with the chaotic messenger is not a random test. It's a precise calibration. The universe is checking if you're ready to trust your gift completely, ready to honor your knowing absolutely, ready to move with confidence based purely on what you sense. Then when you pass this test, when you make the right choice for you based entirely on your intuition, something shifts in the cosmic structure. Doors that were waiting start to open. People who were searching start to find you. Opportunities that were preparing start to manifest. Because you've proven you can be trusted with power. You've demonstrated you won't compromise your knowing for external validation. You've shown you value truth more than comfort. And that proof, that demonstration, that's what activates the next level of your journey. This is why people are shook by you. The sense exists that you're being prepared for something significant. The feeling comes that you're developing capacities beyond normal human experience. The awareness dawns that you're accessing wisdom that comes from beyond the logical mind. And whether articulation happens or not, the knowing exists of being in the presence of someone who's about to step into serious power, someone who's about to claim serious authority, someone who's about to create serious impact. And that recognition, that knowing, it both attracts and repels depending on where others are in their own journey. The payout from all of this isn't just financial. It's not just about connections or visibility or career advancement. The real payout is becoming who you were always meant to be, stepping fully into your power, operating completely from your gift, living authentically as the chosen one you are. And that transformation, that evolution, that's what creates the external success. The money follows the mastery. The opportunities follow the alignment. The connections follow the authenticity. You're not chasing anything. You're becoming someone everything chases. Watch what happens after you make your choice. Watch how differently people start responding to you. The ones who were intimidated become even more uncomfortable. The ones who were curious become magnetically drawn. The ones who were testing you suddenly start respecting you. Because you've crossed a threshold. You've moved from potential into actualization. You've shifted from having a gift to wielding it with precision and purpose. And that shift is visible. That transformation is tangible. That evolution is undeniable. This chaotic person who approached you, regardless of how this situation resolves, has served a purpose. Not the purpose intended, but the purpose the universe designed. This person was sent to reveal to you just how far you've come, how strong your discernment has grown, how unshakable your inner knowing has become. This person was the final exam before graduation, the last checkpoint before the next level, the mirror that reflects back your own mastery so you can finally see yourself clearly. So here we are, everything revealed, everything illuminated, everything clear. This person approaching you with chaotic energy and scattered plans is exactly what you sensed from the beginning. Unreliable but harmless, enthusiastic but unfocused, connected but uncommitted. The opportunity being brought has genuine potential, but not through this person. The door being opened leads somewhere valuable, but won't be walked through together. And your specific talent, this gift of foresight and discernment, has shown you all of this before the pitch even finished. Now the question is simple. What do you choose? And notice I'm not asking what you should choose. I'm asking what you do choose, because there is no should here. There's only what's right for you, what's aligned with your path, what's true to your knowing. Some of you are feeling a clear no, a definite boundary, a firm walk away, and that's perfect, that's powerful, that's you honoring your truth. Others are feeling a strategic yes, a calculated engagement, a boundaried participation, and that's equally perfect, equally powerful, equally honoring your truth. The only wrong choice is the one that ignores your intuition. The only mistake is overriding your gift. The only failure is choosing based on fear or obligation or someone else's expectation. Everything else is just your path unfolding, your journey progressing, your destiny activating. And the people who are shook by you, who never expected you to have this level of clarity, are about to get even more shook when you move with absolute confidence in your knowing. When you make choices that seem risky to others, but are perfectly safe to you. When you navigate complexity with grace others can't comprehend, because this is what mastery looks like. Not perfection, not having all the answers, not never making mistakes, but trusting your guidance, following your intuition, honoring your discernment, even when it makes no logical sense, even when others question you, even when the path forward isn't clear to anyone but you. That's the specific talent people never expected you to have, not just sensing truth, but having the courage to act on it, not just reading energy, but having the strength to honor what you read, not just seeing ahead, but having the wisdom to move accordingly. You are standing here like a chess master, seeing 10 steps ahead. Well, guess what? You just proved that's exactly what you are. This entire situation, from the moment this person approached you to this very second, you've been reading the game perfectly. You sensed the chaos before it got revealed. You detected the unreliability before it got demonstrated. You predicted the pattern before it got repeated. Your specific talent, that gift that terrifies people, worked exactly as designed. It protected you, it guided you, it showed you truth before lies had time to take root. And now, regardless of which path you chose, you're moving forward with power. If you walked away, you did so with confidence, knowing better opportunities are coming. If you moved forward, you did so with boundaries, knowing exactly how to protect yourself. Either way, you won. Either way, you trusted your gift. Either way, you proved to yourself that your discernment is not just accurate, but essential to your success. And that self-trust, that validation, that proof, it's worth more than any business deal. It's worth more than any opportunity. It's worth more than anything this chaotic person could have offered. People are shook by you because you're not like everyone else. You don't get swept up in performances. You don't lose yourself in someone else's dream. You don't compromise your truth for temporary comfort. You see clearly. You think deeply, you act wisely, and in a world where most people are stumbling through darkness pretending to see, someone who actually has vision is revolutionary. Someone who actually trusts sight is unstoppable. Someone who actually honors gifts is destined for greatness. This specific talent of yours, this ability to read energy and sense truth and see ahead, it's not just protecting you from bad situations, it's positioning you for extraordinary ones. It's not just helping you avoid wrong people, it's guiding you toward right people. It's not just keeping you safe, it's propelling you forward toward your highest destiny, and everyone who meets you can feel that power, that clarity, that certainty. That's why the shock exists. That's why the nervousness surfaces. That's why the hard trying happens to win you over. Because deep down, the knowing exists. You're the real deal. You're the genuine article. You're the one who's going to go the distance. You are a chosen one, not because you're better than others, but because you chose awareness. You chose growth. You chose to honor the gift you were given instead of ignoring it like most people do. And that choice, that fundamental commitment to your truth, is creating a life most people can only dream about. Opportunities finding you instead of you chasing them. Right people attracted to you instead of wrong people. Aligned situations materializing instead of chaotic ones. All because you trusted your gift. All because you honored your discernment. All because you stayed 10 steps ahead. So keep going. Keep trusting, keep honoring that specific talent that makes people so uncomfortable, because discomfort in others is not your problem. Inability to manipulate you is not your concern. Shock at meeting someone who actually sees clearly is not your responsibility. You just keep being exactly who you were created to be. A chess master in a world of checkers players, a visionary in a world of the blind, a chosen one who actually chose to honor gifts received. That's your power, that's your legacy, that's your destiny, and nothing and no one can stop you now.